What's up, guys? It's been a while.
Quite a while.
Seriously, almost as long as that awkward gap. It's been since we've seen you together. Super stoked to be able to actually make a travel-related video.
Yay, travel.
Because we just came back from Hawaii.
We went to Oahu, aka Honolulu, aka Waikiki. The area that we stayed in was Waikiki.
Yeah.
I guess it's not the same thing, but you get the idea.
You get the idea. So, yeah, we got to go on our honeymoon. We got married, finally, through COVID.
Finally.
Got to do that, which was cool. And then we went on our honeymoon, and we're here to tell you our top tips of what to do and how to get to and what's going on with Hawaii during COVID.
We spent about a week there at the end of March 2021, so keep that in mind. So our first thing that you should be aware of during the pandemic is that the rules for visiting Hawaii are changing all the time. So right now you have to get a COVID test from one of their approved partners. It has to be like a legit test, no weird back alley deals. You have to go through I think they call it trusted partners, and make sure you get that COVID test. 72 hours is the max you can get it, so I recommend getting it like 2 days before you leave. But you want to make sure that you get your test back in time.
But yeah, just double check the website though, whatever the current thing is for the testing and when you have to get it before you go. Like different islands are requiring multiple tests. So like if you go, I believe to Maui, they're going to start requiring a second test coming up, and just things are changing a lot. So double check on the website. We'll have it down in the description so you can click on it. You're good to go.
We decided to do rapid testing through a company called Carbon Health. If you go on the Hawaii Safe Travels website, which we'll link below, you can see all of their partners, but that's one that you're going to want to check out. And
it was like $150. I mean, it's a bummer you got to spend that much to do it because it is free through like Save On and stuff for the most part. It seems like you can find a way to get one for free, but spending that extra like $150 is kind of like insurance to me, instead of like losing however much you have invested in your whole trip.
Depending on where you are, your COVID test from like CVS might come back in 3 to 4 days, and it might be too late and you would miss your trip, and it would be a bummer. So possibly worth investing in depending on how worried you are about that.
Totally. So we were both kind of concerned about going to Hawaii during COVID. Like, what's the experience actually going to be like? Is it going to be safe? Are people going to be wearing masks? Is everything shut down? Like, what's the deal? And luckily, right when we arrived, they had just started opening more and more. A lot of restaurants that had been closed for like a year were now open. And the experience was mostly just like home for us in California, which is wearing masks, which was fine.
It's really not a big deal. One thing I would recommend if you're in Hawaii, bring lightweight masks. It does get hot there and humid. Yeah. And if you have one of those mask chains specifically, that would be easier to take it on and off as you go into restaurants and stores and things like that. So definitely recommend something comfortable and of course protective, but also keep in mind it is humid there.
But you do need to wear it when you're outside walking around. That's like I don't know if it's a hard requirement or request. We did it the whole time. Anytime we were outside, we just wore it. I feel like we're in their home. They're obviously like opening it up and to tourism, which is awesome to have us be able to go back, but we want to like respect it while we're there. There's a lot of people working and stuff, and I just, it was just one of those things, like, no matter where you're coming from, whatever the policy is there, just when you get there, I would say just try to respect that. But once you get into a restaurant and you sit down, you can take it off, and you can have your meal and stuff. Everything's totally fine there. And then anywhere on the beach, you can not have a mask, which is great. And people kind of give space where you can, and, I don't know. It helps. It's got to help. So it's good.
It wasn't a big deal. It really wasn't.
No.
So just, go into it with the right attitude and be happy that you're in Hawaii.
But like we went on a boat tour, and so getting onto the boat, we wore masks. When we were like at shore, basically they require it. But once you're at sea and you're moving and it's like open air and everything, you could take your mask off. So it's just like it's the on and off dance with the mask. But it is cool that at least like everything's open. And you're able to actually experience it.
Because chances are you'd probably rather be in Hawaii with a mask than be at home without a mask. So
for sure.
One thing we did not expect when we got to Hawaii was that a lot of the restaurants, while a lot of them are open, are at restricted capacity. So they might be at 50% or even less capacity, which means they have a lot less seats. They have to space guests out accordingly. We did not know we'd have to make reservations everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, like casual kind of restaurants, you would think you could just walk up and like maybe wait like a half hour for a table, or like, oh, I'm sorry, like you can't, there's not even waiting for tables, because it's getting busier, a lot more people are coming, and then they're at like such low capacity. It's like this weird balance. So after one day, trying to get tables and stuff, we decided we're just going to look and we're just going to make reservations like everywhere. So we made reservations for every meal, and I think we actually went to pretty much all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least you want to reserve dinner because maybe lunch you want to kind of let it fly by, but dinner you want to reserve because you're not going to be able to get a seat in,
Yeah.
There's a lot of restaurants, but there's also a lot of tourists. So.
Yeah, even lunches though, if you want the sit down style lunch like at a restaurant, you need to make a reservation for it even for lunch for sure.
Yeah.
But if you want like a casual where you're gonna grab the stuff and go like takeout, you can get that for lunch without needing any reservations or anything. That's fine. But like for dinners, you don't always want to like take out the food and go back to your hotel room. You want to eat at the cool restaurant, so just make those reservations no matter what level, not just fancy stuff, but like everything. Like even like almost like bars, like it's almost like just have your drinking experience at your table, because it's probably going to be easier to get that with a reservation than to get a stool at one of the bars, because everything's spaced. And so it's like now that bar that used to seat like 40 people seats like 9 or something. It's crazy. So
it's a big difference.
Huge difference. That's also with basically reservations across everything, including all of the tours, any like expedition type stuff, any of that stuff, right?
Yeah, it's just a lot lower capacity, so you just want to make sure you get your spot if you really want to do something.
Yeah, like the cruises that take you out for like an hour and a half and back and stuff, the sunset cruises and all those are all at half, so you're at like 20-something people. We even saw one family, they got in a weird conundrum because their kid was only a year old, and you can't buy a ticket for someone under 2, but they still count it as a person. So it made it like they ended up having to split their whole family. It's a huge hassle. So just really make sure you got your stuff kind of lined up.
Another note on that is pretty much everything. So just because the hotel is open doesn't mean the hotel pool is open. So we're all paying resort fees still, but you want to make sure that like, is my hotel pool actually open? If so, does it need reservations? How do I make those reservations? Just stuff to be aware of. We also bought the breakfast package at our hotel at the Hyatt Regency in Waikiki.
Yeah, we had read that there aren't a lot, and it's true, there's not a lot of breakfast like spots in Waikiki area, so you're gonna need to like leave if you in the morning you don't want to do that. So we're like, let's just eat the hotel breakfast, it'll be fine. It's all good. But the bummer is that instead of, because obviously they can't have buffets, understandable, but they only had like one breakfast sandwich they gave each day. So it's like, if you don't want that, it's just like tough luck, and it's not cheap. So it was a bummer for sure.
Yeah, it was like a $20 meal, and you got like yogurt, a sandwich, and like a tiny thing of fruit and coffee. But
yeah. It wasn't that it wasn't even that bad. I mean, the price didn't bum me out that much. It was just that the fact that like I didn't get any choice in what I was eating. Like, just give me a couple of choices, I don't know.
Yeah, most of the protein choices that they made, we did not particularly like.
Yeah, it's just kind of cheap hotel food, which, I don't know. At least let me choose between the cheap hotel food. That's all I'm looking for. Little choice.
Hopefully we can get buffets back next time we go.
Seriously. Okay, so you're sensing a trend with this video, right? It is busy and there's not a lot of availability. So with rental cars, they shipped a whole bunch of them off of the islands at the beginning of COVID because there weren't a use for them, but there probably were on the mainland in different areas. So they got all of the cars off the islands, and now there's not a lot of cars there, so people are waiting or like paying. It's crazy. People are paying like $1,000 a day for like basic cars.
Yeah, like a Kia Optima or something.
Yeah, that's what we heard. So we used HawaiianDiscountCarRental.com, I believe. So I found it on Reddit. You know how that goes. And it basically led us down this rabbit hole of like, booking our car through there. And I was like, wow, it's a great deal. Sweet. So we get off the plane, we take the shuttle, which was a terrifying ride, but we get there.
It's worth noting that this is from Thrifty Car Rental.
Yes.
At the Honolulu airport.
So they take us over, we get to the kiosk, or the whatever, I don't know what you call it, like the building, and the rental place, and it is a huge line out the door of upset looking people. Those lines where everyone's just like, just waiting to die, basically in line, it feels like at the end, this is it, It's terrible. But no, it was what is it, an hour, 20 minutes probably in line before we got to the counter.
Just to get to the front. Keep in mind it's Hawaii, so it's raining all this on and off, and you're outside.
It's super hot and stuff, and you just got off the plane, so you're like all bummed that you have a reservation. You're on time for it, and you get there, and it's like hour 20. And then we found out we actually got off lucky because when we went online and read the reviews of the place after the fact, don't do that. do it before, but people were saying that they waited 3 hours, and that was the same like couple days that we were there. So it was just really, really heavy.
Apparently, 1 hour was a great idea.
Yeah,
only wait for that long. So.
I don't know. Maybe call ahead on your rental place, or
probably
I don't
just
know.
book with a better, more high-end rental place, or maybe just go to your hotel and book from them, so you don't have to deal with the airport struggle bus.
Yeah, I mean, when we go back, we'll probably skip getting a car in the very beginning. Just get to our hotel, get a car for like a couple days, and then not have it the whole time or anything. But it was really nice to have it the whole time. It was.
Yeah, it was super handy, but the struggle in the beginning was definitely worth noting.
Yeah, and that's apparently because of COVID, once again, because everything got shipped off the island. So, there you go.
Thanks, COVID. So everybody that's visiting Oahu or has visited Oahu has probably thought about going to see the Pearl Harbor Memorial Site. So the boat is the USS Arizona. Apparently people used to just wait hours and hours in line at the memorial site to get to this boat tour, because they take you to the boat and they take you back.
Yeah, it wasn't reservations, right? It was just like a line.
No reservations.
In the past, yeah.
Just a big old line that you can hang around in.
Always fun.
So I guess one good thing that came out of COVID was that you can actually make reservations on the National Park's website. They only book like a week in advance, and you have to be kind of on top of it because the slots go quick, and they're timed, so you have to pick what time you'll be there, roughly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as hard as I thought to get reservations. Just make sure you obviously are there on time, and if you can't get reservations for the USS Arizona, that is definitely the main thing to see there, but there's actually a lot of other cool stuff there that you can go see separately, and you can, it's free parking and everything, so if you just go for like an hour, you can do that too.
Yeah, there was I think it's USS, I don't know how you say it, but for the submarines, but it's a Bowfin, and it was really cool. It was an extra $20 to go into that, but I thought it was totally worth it. I've never actually walked through like a World War II submarine. That was really cool to actually walk through it, see everything. It's just amazing, man.
I would say that, the USS Bowfin and the other attractions that are there are definitely worth going to, even if you can't get the USS Arizona Pearl Harbor typical reservations.
Yeah, and there's tons of museums that you walk through, like galleries and stuff with so much information, and it's really like almost overwhelming. Like, it's one of those style museums where it's like, wow, this has a ton behind it. It's really great. You could I think we spent 4 hours there. Mm-hmm. You could probably spend 6 or more, like if you're really, really into it, but everybody gets museum fatigue.
Yeah, there's a lot to see, so you kind of just even have to pick and choose what you see, even if you don't get to see the USS Arizona. But if you're on top of it, you'll be able to get reservations online. Just don't show up there thinking you're just going to buy tickets there, because it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of people getting turned away we saw that walked up and wanted to go, and they're like, sorry, it's just not going to happen. So we absolutely loved our time in Oahu. It's actually a fantastic time to go right now, I would say. You just have to be more on top of what you're going to be doing and when and stuff, and make some reservations, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, and if you want to go to the beach or, go hiking, you don't have to make reservations for any of that we saw, at least. But, just restaurants, big fun things like ziplining, you'll definitely want to make a reservation so you don't miss out on those.
And if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, and we will do our very best to answer them. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
And enjoy your trip to Hawaii.